your driver development program. Now, obviously, over the last several years, you've had the most aggressive young racers getting opportunities and good cars to get chances to prove their worth. One of the stars of that program has been Erik Jones, driving for Kyle Busch and winning truck racers. I've been really blessed. I've been a truck commentator for many years. And when Erik Jones showed up, I said, not only is he going to win truck races, he'll win cup races one day. He's that good. And now he's leading your system. Tell me where you are right now with driver development and your thoughts on Erik and what's next for you guys as on the development side, because you've given so many young racers great opportunities.
Yes, I'm glad you asked about that, Michael, because our driver development program is something that I view as not just important to us in helping us develop these young athletes, men and women, girls and boys, but it's also a way that we can give back to the sport. And I said at the outset that it's an imperfect process, and the first place it falls down is we don't own racing teams, right? So it's not always a certainty that as these kids develop, that we'll be able to assure that they'll be able to stay in our product, and so, you know, ultimately, if we lose some along the way, and we're going to lose as many as we keep just because of that fact, but the sport still benefits. You know, when William Byron won his first cup race, I took an immense amount of pride in that because we had a hand in his development, and he and his dad Bill are still friends of Toyota, and they look back on us fondly and respectfully. So, you know, Mr. Hendrick likes to poke me in the ribs and say, Dave, you know, I'll just wait, steal your driver from you.
Who's next, right?
You're doing a great job, Dave. So keep developing those kids. And so you mentioned Erik Jones, and of course Erik won't be back, unfortunately, and that was tough, because we had, you know, we've had a lot invested in Erik, and you know, circumstantially, we weren't able to keep enough cars on track, and it came down to, you know, a bit of a Sophie's choice. So what I focus on is because of us, Erik Jones is a NASCAR Truck Series champion, and he has won a bunch of truck races, a bunch of Xfinity races, a couple of cup races, and he and I take pride in that, and I feel like, you know, it was partially, you know, because of our participation. So, you know, I tell each one of these kids, and, you know, particularly the ones that, you know, they're in their 20s, like Erik and William, that, you know, you got a long, you know, a couple of decades worth of driving to do. Who's to say we won't be back together one day, right? When Martin Truex Jr. left to go run that Chevy team in Denver, last thing I said to him, Martin, is our story's not over yet, and let's see what the future holds, and the rest is, you know, history, as they say. So, you know, anyway, it can be hard because I take each one of these relationships personally. I take a personal responsibility in them, but I can rest at night because we take it so seriously, and we don't, you know, these are people, and they have families, and we get to know the families, and so I'll say this, Michael, in spite of, you know, how difficult it can be, we are resolved to continue developing drivers. We're pleased to see, you know, our friends at Ford step in to do some of that themselves, and of course they've had some some great success with the likes of Chase Briscoe and all. And again, it's good for our sport.